All right, all right. Good 3 points at home. I'm gonna start off by saying the pro referee Pierre. I don't know his last name off the top of my head. I just know his first name is Pierre. Um, Only because I had to look it up, and he was abysmal tonight. I'll start out by saying that for one, I thought he was pretty poor. Um, Especially early on with Will Trapp picking up a yellow in the 8th minute and his first foul. It, it was shocking after I think San Jose in the first 8 minutes had a couple fouls. Uh, so I thought that was a little bit strange. And Francisco Calvo's yellow card was a little bit orangish. I haven't seen it back too many times, but I'm not going to get too controversial on that because I think VAR probably would have fixed it. But I was hearing it was a bit orangish, if that makes sense. It was a bit, a hard yellow tackle, I'd say, from Francisco Calvo. Yeah, our lovely buddy Francisco, who out of all ex-Loon players, sure, well, I know he didn't get a warm welcome. I just wonder why towards the end of the game, Greg Goose was booed on his corner. I thought that was a bit classless, as the guy gave us his all. I mean, now Francisco Calvo, on the other hand, he's a bit of a classless player, so I can understand of him being booed and whatnot. But before that, Luis Amarilla honestly scores a good goal. Probably should have been his second. Bongi Halongaway had a great first half, I thought, especially on the pass to Amarilla, who early on tried dinking it over the San Jose goalkeeper a bit too much oomph on it. He should have just put it hard and low to either side of the ground. Unfortunately, he didn't, Amarilla, but it was outstanding sequence of play, a great pass from Bongi, and yeah, it started pretty well. We were controlling the whole game, honestly. We had most of the ball, most of the possession. San Jose, honestly, didn't have a good scoring opportunity until I think they created two of their best chances towards the end of the game. One was on a cross that St. Clair got a hand to, and Debasi ended up falling to Debasi, who cleared it quite well, but almost landed to a San Jose player. It was a bit shaky. So yeah, St. Clair had very little to do all night, but Amarilla's goal, it was a great goal. Uh, Assist from I don't even assist from was from Lod, I believe. It was a nice cross. And Amarilla just put the final touch on it, and it was a good finish. It was an easy finish, I thought, but it's good that Amarilla's back-to-back goals scored. I thought he was a bit shaky in the first half of the first half. But towards the end of the first half, he grew into the game quite a bit. He had a nice little bit of buildup, and then I thought the rest of the game he really settled into the game. I mean, the second half played a little not as good as he did in the end of the first, but I thought he settled in quite nicely after that first about 15 minutes of being a little bit shaky, missing a couple opportunities, being a little bit selfish, taking a bit too many chances, shots. But that's what you want to see from your goal scorer. You want to see him take chances, try to score goals. And so it's good back-to-back goals for Amarilla. An assist from Lord. Even though Amarilla should have got two, Franco should have got one at the end to ice it, but was poor, tried rounding the goalie, scuffed his line. Bongi actually could have had a goal at the end. It had a nice little dribble through a couple players who also helped him out a bit by touching onto him, and the finish was just almost there. But uh, there was a lot of bright spots today. Curvin was great. Hassani playing once he went in the midfield, played quite a bit better. I'd like to see DJ Taylor play more at right back when we have these injury situations. I don't like squeezing in Hassani Dotson at right or left back. I think he just needs to stay in the midfield. Oh, excuse me. Unless we really desperately need that fill from Hassani, but I just think when he plays at left or right back, you can tell he's playing out of position. So just question why DJ doesn't get the start. But oh well. I thought Sani did all right tonight. I mean, against the San Jose team that, not to be disrespectful, but I don't think anyone thinks they're going to do too much this year. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't want to be too hard on them, but yeah, they just don't look like they're going to go do too much or go too far in MLS this year. But it was a great win. I wouldn't say great. That's a good win. The front three just our attack needs to just learn how to score goals, because we should have had 4 tonight, to be honest. It shouldn't have been a 1-0 win. We should have had 4 easy, maybe not 4, but we could have easily had 4, especially Franco at the end, one-on-one at the goalie. He's got to score there. Amarilla early goal where he tried chipping the goalie. I think he's got to score there. Bongi, I'm not going to say he should have scored. I think it would have been a hard goal, but the other ones should have been. And there was a scorpion kick from Robin Lod that almost went in. There's plenty of almost goals tonight. So it's a good sign, but we just got to start finishing a bit better. I think if we're going to beat and play some of these better teams at home, excuse me, they're going to take their chances, and they're going to be a little bit harder to beat than the San Jose Earthquake team. But unfortunately, you only can beat what's in front of you, and we did today. So yeah, the attack just needs to be a bit better. I'll get into the player ratings, but a good 3 points. We keep climbing the table, keep doing what we're supposed to do, because that was a game we're supposed to win. I know we play, our next home game is August 2nd against Seattle. I am not sure if we have a game during the international break. I don't believe so. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't think so, but I think our next game is April 2nd. Unless we have an away game. But I just know our next home game is April 2nd against Seattle. Going to be a tough team. They are up and down with CONCACAF Champions League eyes wandering, so hopefully we catch them at a right time and maybe an upset or something. But we just got to keep getting points, chipping away a game at a time, and make the playoffs and see where we are in a month or two, after kind of the first part of the season shakes up and teams start settling into where they kind of are. So yeah, I'll get into the player ratings and we'll wrap it up here for Saturday night. I'm going to start with Dane St. Clair, who I was glad that I got the start. He absolutely deserved the start, and I like having a manager. If we're going to be critical on Adrian Heath, I'd like to give him props when he needs to, when he deserves it, because I like showing players that if you come into the team and you perform well, you can keep your spot. Yes, it's unfortunate Miller got sick, but after last week's performance, Dane needed to play, and he didn't have much to do tonight. He didn't, but a clean sheet, another clean sheet, made a couple saves. I think he gets to start again. I don't think Miller, excuse me, not deserved, but I don't think he has the right to just come back into the team, if that makes sense, after the way Dane played that against the Red Bulls. And I mean, another clean sheet today, even though he didn't have to do much. But a well-deserved start from him, I think. So it was nice to see on Friday. I think it was Friday. Adrian said that he would be getting the start. So that was nice. And we'll go to Hassani Dotson at right back, or St. Clair. I forgot to give him a rating. Didn't have to do much tonight, so I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for the clean sheet. Didn't have to really do much, but it was very dictating at the back. Got his hand on a couple nice crosses. Played well. So I'm glad to see him play well for 2 games in a row. Hassani Dotson, playing out of position. I really think he struggles at right and left back when he is squeezed in there. But I think it was one of his better performances at right back. I'll have to give him a 7.5 out of 10, especially when he came into the midfield. I thought he played a lot better. Boxall was a rock at the back tonight. Coleman played really well. I'm going to have to give them both 8s. They really made sure Dane didn't have too much to do, which is really nice to see. Dabasi started slow in the first little short period of the game, but then really grew into left back, or grew back into that left back spot. I think he's still getting used. I mean, I know he can play that left back spot, but I think he's been kind of getting back into the swing of things after playing center back for so long the last year or so. Will Trapp picked up the yellow. Like we talked about earlier, I don't think that was, I mean, it was a tactile foul, definitely a foul, but in its first foul in the 8th minute, it's be a yellow. It's a bit harsh, I thought. But Will was good for his 70 some minutes that he was on the field. It was good to get him off because he was making some challenges where if he did put a foot wrong, he was going to get that second yellow. So it was nice to get him off the field at a decent time. Played well. I'm going to have to give him an 8 out of 10. Curvin Araga played outstanding in the midfield. It's the dictate. Just he does everything. He really does everything in the midfield. The passing, he stops stuff. I've been extremely impressed from Curvin. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Robin Lod, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. Took a hard foul from Calvo, so I would not be surprised if we see him on the injury report this week with some maybe a light injury. Good thing that he got back up and finished the game. I thought it was going to be a little bit more serious for a second, so that's good to see that Lod got back up from that challenge. An 8.5, I think, was good for him. Ray didn't have his best game, but he looked better. He's getting more into the swing of things. He looked, not saying that he looked bad. He looked good. Like, he played well, but Ray's standard, how we expect so much out of him. So when he makes that extra touch or two where you really know he shouldn't, kind of gets on your nerves a little bit because he's better than that. How he can make these touches, make these plays, and then you just kind of, you like to see this spectacular, but sometimes you got to pick the easy pass after making one or two guys miss. You can't take on that third one, But Ray played well. I'm going to give him an 8. Bongi Halongaway, I am going to give an 8.5 out of 10. I thought Bongi was awesome for his 66 minutes. I thought he was good. I thought he was really. I thought the first half he was outstanding. I was extremely impressed. Super happy that he got his first start. Was desperate for him to get that goal or that assist from Amarilla because it would have been icing on the cake. But Amarilla, I'm gonna give him 9 out of 10, and I'm gonna have Curvin be my man of the match, just because I thought he was outstanding. Amarilla, I thought, even though he picked up the goal, I really think he should have had another one and was a bit sloppy with that. But other than that, I think he just should have had another one. His hold-up play was fine. There's times where he lost possession of the ball, but I thought he played quite well. Definitely just got to keep the goal scoring going, and we'll be at 21 soon enough, knock on wood, but he's doing it when he's healthy. So let's just hope he stays healthy. There we go. And that is the starting lineup. So we'll go into the subs and we'll wrap it up there. So Franco Frankopane came in the 66th minute for Bongi Halongaway. And Franco should have had a goal. Let's be serious. He had a breakaway, should have had a goal. Tried around in the keeper, didn't. And I'll give him a 7 out of 10. DJ Taylor came in for Will Trapp, but played at the right as Hassani Dotson moved back into the middle. And I thought DJ played not extremely well, but played well. He played really well at right back coming in. I'd like to see him get a start in situations like these more often instead of Hassani. Just having a natural right back, I think, could help the team's overall formation, the way we play. Not saying Hassani is to blame for anything tonight. You can tell when he's out there, he just looks like a midfielder playing right back or left back. And then when he did come into the midfield later, looked great. It looked like he didn't lose a step. So I'd like to see DJ Taylor play a little bit more at right back. And when we have situations like O'Neal Fisher out, Kamar Lawrence not in the squad yet. So that's something I'd really like to see. I don't like when Adrian kind of just puts the best, quote unquote, best 11 guys and just kind of makes them into a makeshift 11. Even though Hassani has proven to us that he can play that utility role, I don't understand why we quite need to at this moment. Maybe he is impressing more than DJ Taylor in training. Who knows? But yeah, Abu Dalati got his first appearance since returning from the Loons in the 78th minute, coming on for Luis Amarilla. And the one thing I heard from some people in the crowd was a bit of grunting and groaning. I mean, to be fair, Abu was poor towards the end of his MNUFC career in his first spell, and he didn't really quite kick it off in Nashville. But I do get where people were saying where you don't see Adrian Hunu get on the field after Amarilla, and you really question what the heck's going on. But if you looked at the formation, Abu wasn't playing up top. He was more playing on the wide, on the right. We kind of brought everyone back, put another midfield. The Franco and Abu kind of came tucked back, and we kind of played a 4-5-1 with 5 in the midfield. And Ray was just kind of up there by himself. The meaningless. Yeah, that makes sense. But I understand why it wasn't Hanu is because Hunu would not be able to play on that right wing and give us the depth. If Hunu would have came on, I would have loved to see Hunu on. Don't get me wrong, but I think that Hunu couldn't play on that right like Dalati can. Not saying that he's any better than Dalati by any means, but I think the formation just fit what we were trying to do, kind of just close out the end of the game, which I don't mind. But I'd say in future situations, I'd hope that the crowd kind of understands that, because getting hard on Dalati, right? I heard people yelling that he's stunk and stuff, and that's not what we should be doing to a player that, even though he might not be doing bad or whatnot, or he might be playing bad, but he's on the field, so we got to support him. And I don't think Abu will be playing too much, but coming off for the last 5 minutes, give us a little bit of pace to just kind of waste some time if we needed. Yes, great 8 points, Sarge. I agree. But yeah, that's kind of where I saw the Abu sub. I didn't like it necessarily because I want to see more from Hunu, but I just don't think he'd fit on the right or left. I think he just has to play through the middle. So I would have maybe liked to see Hunu for Ray a little bit sooner. Maybe if that could have been an option, to have Hunu play a little bit isolated, try to win something. Not to, it might not be a strong suit, but I just saw people getting on Abu or hurt a little bit when I don't think he really needed it, and I thought he made a smart substitution in that way, just to control the game. Not that I want to see Hunu over that, but just what I heard from the crowd. And lastly, Ja'Cory Hayes just coming on for the last, or so Abu probably get a 7.5 from me. I thought he won some good fouls, wasted a bit of time in the corner with Ray towards the end. And then the Corey Hayes sub was just, get another midfielder and waste it with a sub. So, and he really didn't really do much to warrant a rating, but I'll just throw in a 7.5 for him. Good 8 points, like Sarge said. And yeah, we move on. Seattle, I think, next, unless we have an away game, but I believe the international break's coming up, like I stated earlier. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Love seeing everyone coming in and talking. So thanks for tuning in, guys. NWB, thanks for coming in and chatting. So as always, come on, you loons, 8 points and onwards and upwards. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Come on, you loons.